Good morning. In our 365 days of exploring the Bible, we've now come to day 119. From day 119 to day 126, we are dwelling on things that were written by or about the people in exile. We start with the ruin of Jerusalem and the Lamentations of Jeremiah. This is day 119, the Lamentations of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verses 1 to 22. Yahweh, remember what has happened to us. Look at us in our disgrace. Our properties are in the possession of people we don't know. Our homes are inhabited by foreigners. The enemy killed our fathers, and now our mothers are widows. We even have to pay for the water we drink and the wood for our fires. They drive us hard, like donkeys or camels. Exhausted, there is no rest for us. We went begging to Egypt and Assyria for just enough food to sustain us. Our sinful ancestors are now dead, leaving us to suffer for their sins. Our new rulers are not worthy of our respect. No one can save us from these low-down brutes. The countryside is the haunt of cutthroats who threaten us whilst we scavenge for food. We are burning up with hunger. Our skin feels like an oven. Even on Mount Zion they raped our wives, and in every village they took our daughters by force. They've hanged our leaders and disrespected our elders. Our young men are forced to grind corn for them like slaves, and our boys are staggering under heavy loads of wood. You no longer see the elderly sitting by the city gates. The young people now don't play their music. Happiness has fled from us. Dancing has been replaced by grief. Everything we were proud of is gone. We sinned, and now we face the judgment. All this has made us sick to our very core. We can't see because our eyes are filled with tears, because Zion's hill lies there empty and alone, inhabited only by wild jackals. But you, Yahweh, remain the eternal sovereign. You rule forever. Why, we ask, have you been absent from us so long? Will you ever remember us? Call us back to yourself, Yahweh. Bring us back. Restore our former glory from of old. Or have you decided to shun us forever? Just how great is your fury? Just how depressed were the exiles in Babylon? These few verses give us a good idea. The people of Judah were completely defeated and demoralized. Their nation had disappeared. Their religion had evaporated. By the very thinnest of margins, a tiny belief in God was just hanging on. A God you could cry out to, but with scant hope of an answer. We have, of course, seen scenes like these in our own times. The stories are repeated endlessly on the media, from the two major conflicts in the 20th century and the continuing conflicts of the present day. Whilst these poems were being written, refugees were also making their way to Egypt, preserving what they could of the treasures and traditions of their people. The Babylonian scholars too were interested in these things, and they must have consulted the exiles, and especially the priests and the Deuteronomic scholars amongst them, about their faith and its practices. By these two routes, the scriptures, liturgies, and histories of a defeated people would be preserved. But what about the faith in the hearts of the people themselves? To start with, their faith would be as described here, their hearts failing, fully and completely defeated. But they were beginning to express their feelings. A poet found the means to write down how it felt, and here today it comes out like a prayer, asking if God, against all the odds, might call these sinners back together again to become the people of God. But first they had to get over the defeat and over their anger against their enemies before they could see clearly God's hand at work in these movements of history. We look again at their sadness tomorrow, and I'll see you then when we read some more laments from the exiles.